Welcome. I'm Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner, and I specialize in spiritual growth and healing. Whether you've experienced religious trauma or if you're just seeking guidance on your life journey or spiritual journey, I'm here to support and walk alongside as an ally as I can. You can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. As we go throughout our time together, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. If you're watching the recording, know that I track with the chat after the live too. And so continue to chime in there, and I'll do my best to get back to your questions. You can find my meditations here on the channel. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe. It just helps others find content. It helps you be notified when I post new content. And if you'd like more meditations in a little more structured form and without commercials, I know sometimes YouTube can throw in commercials. If you want to access that as a podcast, visit my website, faithfullygrowing.com, and sign up for my 25 plus guided meditations, and that's completely free. And then finally, before I jump into our content, if you have the capacity to donate, one of the passions of mine and of Faithfully Growing is to keep high quality coaching accessible to all. And so have a nonprofit aspect of my coaching practice. And so if you have the capacity and would like to make a tax deductible donation, you can do that by visiting faithfullygrowing.com/donate. Okay, before I lead us in our meditation, I'm going to talk just a little bit about IFS, Internal Family Systems. And if IFS is new to you, you can check out my website and click on the How I Work link, and you can get a little more insight into what Internal Family Systems is. But today I'm going to focus on talking about IFS and in our meditation and how it can incorporate with the Enneagram. IFS shows, as you know, if you're familiar with the model, that we have many parts inside us. And the Enneagram explains 9 personality types. And what I have found is that knowing our personality type, whether it be the Enneagram or some other personality type system like Myers-Briggs or the DISC profile, is it can help us understand kind of our system and how we're designed, how we work, and it can help us understand our parts a little better. One example of that, and I'll give you just a brief overview of the 9 types. I'm a 9, and by using IFS with the type 9, it helps me to understand, first of all, that I'm a peacemaker and that I have a need for peace. I want peace without. I want other people to be happy, and I also want to have peace within. But that can help me keep my other desires in balance, knowing that I have a high priority for peace. And before we jump into our meditation, because I want you to be aware of maybe how your system is wired and what your type is. And if you don't know your Enneagram type and would like to, send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com, and I can send you a quick assessment that can help you identify what your type is. But let's look at the 9 types, and then I want you to be aware of them as we go into the meditation. The first one is the reformer. And reformers tend to be concerned with personal perfection. They focus on perfecting intimate relationships, and they're driven by a sense of duty, responsibility, and a desire to contribute to the greater. The type 2, the helper, cares for others by providing practical support and meeting basic needs, seeks deep, intimate connections, driven by a desire to be helpful and supportive within the broader community. Type 3, the achiever, focuses on personal success, emphasizes personal relationships, and strives to be attractive and successful in those personal relationships, in those connections. And the type 3 is driven by a desire for recognition. Type 4, the individualist, focuses on creating a unique, comfortable environment and may withdraw to protect their identity. Emphasizes intense individual connections, driven by a desire for identity and individuality within a larger context. And then type 5 is the investigator, and they're concerned with personal security and may withdraw to conserve energy and resources. They emphasize intense one-on-one connections, driven by a desire for knowledge, competence, expertise. The Enneagram type 6, the loyalist, focuses on personal safety and preparedness, emphasizes loyalty and security in personal relationships, and is driven by a desire for safety and support. And then type 7, the enthusiast, seeks pleasure and distraction to avoid pain and discomfort. So when you incorporate IFS, those firefighters that are jumping in to numb us may be more present there. Number 8, the challenger, is focused on personal power and strength, emphasizes intensity and passion in personal relationships, and is driven by a desire for justice. And then finally, the Enneagram 9, which I am, primarily seeks comfort and routine to maintain inner peace and avoid conflict, emphasizes harmony and connection in personal relationships, and is driven by a desire for unity and peace. And so as we go throughout our meditation, be aware of the 9 personality types of the Enneagram and how that impacts your system, your parts, and how you're made up. And so let's begin the meditation by bringing your attention to your breath. Just inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand. And exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension. And repeat this for a few breaths at your own pace until you begin to feel more centered. And before I go further, I do want you to know that we're experiencing another snow day here in the Midwest in the U.S. and Wisconsin. Of all things, the gas froze in the lines of the buses, and they had to cancel school at the last minute. So if you hear some rumbling, that's a little extra. Thanks for your grace. But continue to settle into the meditation and let your system know that we just want to be curious. There's no agenda. We're not going to try to push our parts or our system to do anything that they don't want to do. And just see if you can set an intention just to be compassionate and curious. Just take a moment and scan your body for any areas of tension or discomfort. Notice any sensations and try to do it with minimal judgment or no judgment, and know that there is judgment. Maybe some parts that may need to soften back. Just notice the parts that are up within. And keep in mind of how your system may be wired in light of the Enneagram. more of that reformer, type 1. Or type 2, the helper. Or type 3, the achiever. And type 4, the individualist. And type 5, the investigator. Type 6, that loyalist, focused on personal safety and preparedness, emphasizes loyalty and security, driven by a desire for safety. Type 7, the enthusiast, seeking pleasure. Type 8, the challenger, focused on personal power and strength. Or type 9, the peacemaker, just that high priority for peace within and peace without. Just notice your system and the parts that are coming up in light of that. And we do all at our best at that self energy incorporate the gifts that all 9 types bring to us. So it's not an either or, it's not a be all end all, but it can help us understand our system a little more as we identify more to one type or another. And it may be helpful to imagine your parts just joining you around a table. Some may want to be right in front of you. Some may want to keep their distance. Just see where they sit down. I'm just going to give you a minute to see what you notice as your parts kind of come together. Just acknowledge each one. Thank them for their courage in showing up. And engage in a compassionate dialogue with all your parts. What do they want to share? Maybe look at each one around the table. How do they resonate with this idea of different personality types? Allow each part to express itself openly. See what else, if there's anything else. And let's just allow some space for those parts to share. What gifts do they bring? What are their fears and concerns? Some may just want to listen and witness, and that's okay. Some may have a lot to share. That's okay too. But just make sure everyone has a chance to have a voice if they want. Just see if there's anything else. What do you want to share with those parts that are gathered around the table? Let your parts know they're not alone. They're part of this inner team. They've got resources, they've got you, and you may not be the same person that they think you are. See if they may need a little updating. And just before we begin to wrap up, just encourage collaboration among the different parts. See if they can imagine working together, sharing wisdom, finding common ground. See how they react to the idea that they have the capacity to create a cohesive internal team. Just see if there's anything else that you may want to share with your internal system, those parts that you may be imagining around the table, or that they may need or want from you. And let your parts know that this doesn't have to be the last time that you all meet together. That if they'd like more time and attention and even maybe some one-on-one time, that you'd like that. And let them know when you can connect again. Let them know you're not going to forget about them. But for now, we need to wrap up and just see if you could check in with each part. Thank them for their courage, for as much or as little as each part shared. And then when it feels right, you can slowly bring your awareness back to your breath in the present moment. You can open your eyes if they were closed. And you can continue about your daily life. But thanks so much for joining me for this meditation. And I'll hang around for a bit. If you have questions during the live, I can take those now. Or if you have questions and you're watching the recording, go ahead and chime in too, and I'll engage with you there. If you'd like more content, I encourage you to head over to my website and you can access 25 plus guided meditations that I do. And you can also access them in a podcast form that may eliminate some of the commercials that YouTube tends to put into the meditations. But yeah, head on over there. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and you can just know when I put out new content. And if you ever have any questions, send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com, and I'd be glad to engage with you there or in the comments on this video. But thank you so much. Take care. Have a great week. Join me next week. Do this at the same time if you want to join me live on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern here in the United States. But thanks so much. Take care. Have a great week.